So after looking at the IK method of doing the bolter, let's look at another way of doing the bolter, which is just use our old friend, the hose. So what I'm going to do, why is this called plane? This is left shoulder. There we go. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a standard dynamics object. No, I'm not going to build it. What is it again? It's extended objects, isn't it? Hose, which I can pull out from here. Okay, now we've got options on our hose, different things we can do to it. So we're going to have a rectangular hose, for example, which looks terrible. Okay, and we want a hose that's going to be bound to two areas. So what I'm going to do is have a dummy here, exit isolation mode. I'm also going to have a dummy down here. Okay. Now as you can see, this is quite a big rectangular hose. Let's hide everything that isn't going to be used in our simulation. There's our dummy for the top controls. Okay, so hosey. Now what we can do here is bind it to object pivots, pick our top one, that's this one, and our bottom one, that's this one. Okay, and we can change the tension on it. Maybe, there we go, just about 95 there. Now then, flex section, don't want a flex section to be quite honest. So there, turn that off. And we can reduce the amount of segments we have too. Now then, there should be an option here for width and depth, which I'm going to play with. And I'm going to reduce the width. And I'm going to increase the depth. And that'll give me that shape there. I can also fillet it should I wish. Drop in some fillet segments, which tends to make it look nicer. I don't really want flex sections. I don't know, let's have a look. The problem with flex sections is they look a bit like crap. As you can see. Nah, can't be chuffed with that kind of business. Okay, so this is our basic hose here. And the thing is that this is basically all ready to go. It just plugs in and stretches and does everything we ever wanted it to. Now, very, very excitingly, 3ds Max used to be, and I say used to be, not very good with hoses. We didn't used to be able to do things that we can do now with hoses. And one of the things that we used to be able to, we couldn't do that we can now do, is we can select our hose and stick an edit poly modifier on it, like so. Now, so what, you may say? Well, the thing is, with the edit poly, we have the ability to change the entire look and entire feel of this entire hose, which may not sound exciting until you realize that on doing that, we can make a really complicated object without having to use the IK method in the previous one, which requires faffing about galore. Okay, so let's isolate just the hose. Now, at the top here, there's some interesting kind of screwiness going on, which is actually part of the hose itself. Exit isolation mode. Let's grab this and this. Now, I think I know what that is. And because I think I know what that is, I'm pretty sure I can fix it. Exit isolation. Isolate selection. There we are. And what this is probably is a need to rotate this. Well, that seems to have fixed that. Okay, now down here again to our hose, edit poly. And while I'm just doodling on this, see if you can tell why I think this is a great way of doing stuff. Ring. Going to deselect this one, and this one. Loop. Maybe do a little extrude. And then perhaps a little chamfer. Just a little one. There we go. And then perhaps on the sides here. Let's take it up to about that far. You'll notice obviously it's starting to get squeezed in a little bit at the top. And we can ignore back facing. While we're doing this, just remember to turn it off when you're done. Saves problems, but it can cause them in the long run. Okay. Now we can bevel these just a teeny bit. Just remember the deformation on this requires a lot of calculating, so be careful. Okay, so that gives us this beautiful shape here. Let's exit isolation mode now. Now then, what we can do here is just select our dummy and just rotate it a little bit. There we go. Like so. Now we can actually reduce the size of the hose itself. But if we do that, as you can see, it depends on topology. So if we change our parameters, it may have undesirable effects. Are you sure you want to continue? Yes. Why not? Click Show End Results. So let's say you want to change the width a little bit. You can do that in here. But what we're interested in is changing the depth a little bit. There we are. So now we can go back to our edit poly again. Like so. Now what I want to do is just adjust this. There, so we've got it coming right out the back. Like so. And then all we have to do, I'll isolate this part, all we have to do is actually build the chamber for this to fit into, which to be frank is not a great challenge. Though you can be frank if you like. I'm feeling generous. This piece seems to think it's called hose. You're not called hose. This is hose. Ah, silly machine. Right. Oops. Make sure this is renamed Power Fist, because it seems to have been renamed by accident. Bring these out a little bit. Before I do, I'm going to delete these. Okay, now I can extrude it. Now I'm going to take this part here, here and here and just move it on the local. Not too far. About there. Move that to about there. And if I leave it open slightly, this is going to make things a bit easier for me. Now I'm going to get rid of this. And this. And this. Don't worry, there's a reason. Okay, and go straight across here. Do a ring and a connect. And bridge. There we go. And then here. Okay, just doing one at a time. Again, we're hitting that problem that bridge has sometimes if you try and get too clever. Bridge says no. Bridge says no. Okay, cap. Right, now what I need to do in here is select this little box fellow here and link it to our actual gun. Exit isolation mode. I'm going to rotate this up. Just need to make sure that this box is linked to this part. Which it is. Okay. I'm going to bring this part up to here. Just check on the angle there. Move this a little bit. There we go. And I'm going to bring this one down a little bit, just rotate it again. Just check the tension on this hose. As you see, we can increase the tension. It also appears to be twisted, which is a bit of an issue here, so let's untwist it. There we go. Now the only issue that we have with this is that even though this is linked, the dummy, we do have to actually manually update and refresh the positioning of our bolter hose. Okay, let's go over to the front here. Let's move that in. Get here and here. Change this to view. Alright. I think I was moving the wrong piece there actually. There we go. Change the angle again. There we go. And that should do that. And as you can see, we now have the hose leading down into this area. And what I mean by manually needing to kind of adjust it, as you can see, just reset it again back what it was. There. If you wanted to update automatically, then what you have to do, unfortunately, is get rid of the editable poly component. Like so. So I mean, that is up to you. Alright. So we've created our hose for here. The next thing I'm going to do then is create some additional hoses that are going to come down and connect to various parts of this. And for that, what I'm going to need to do is create basically a small plug array and decide where our hoses are going to come from. Now, there's a couple of places I can pull them from. I think really the best place though is going to be up here on the shoulder mechanism. So I'm going to isolate the shoulder, and I'm going to build basically a load of hose mounts into this. So just looking at this shape, take here, 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 and I think 3 should probably be enough. Just inset those, scale them down a bit. Okay, now I'm going to do some quick target welding. And I'll just reduce the amount of polygons that we've got, which means that I'll be able to actually get this a lot more precise with the placement of the hoses. And then I have to decide where the hoses are going to. Okay, so bevel. And then bring these back a bit more. Not too far though. Otherwise they vanish into this wall. Okay, that's where our hoses are going to come out of. Now, let's work out where they're going to go to. And I think we should probably have one that comes out of here and goes down onto here. Now the question is, can we get it down here? Yeah, I think we can. Okay, that's fine. So what I'm going to do is select this polygon here, do a minor inset, scale it in a little bit, then a bevel. There we go, and that gives us one area that we can pull a hose into. Next, we build ourselves a hose. like so, and then build ourselves a couple dummies. Speaking of which, we have one here. Hasn't even got a name yet. Let's have a look. I'm notoriously bad at remembering to name them. This is PF, shoulder, ammo, belt, dummy. I'll just grab all that. One. And then this will be belt 2 down here. There we go. Just so I know what those are. And then if I zoom up here, I can make another dummy using auto grid. Just in here. And in turn, wait for autosave. Put a second one in here. Okay, next. Grab our hose. And it's going to be bound to object pivots. Our top object is going to therefore be this. If I can ever select it. There we go. And our other one will be this one. Okay, and as you see, they have fun intersecting each other and being messy. Turn off flex section enable. So one of the first jobs I need to do is actually pick the correct place for this to be connected to, because it's connected to power fist and it should be connected to this dummy at the moment. There, that's better. As you can see, it's twisted. So in the local viewport, let's select this dummy and untwist it. It's 180 degrees. And then I can adjust its positioning a little bit. There we go. This gives us a big fat hose pipe. So we're going to have to reduce the size of this hose pipe in a minute. Okay, next. I can adjust the tension. Less tension, obviously, at the top there is going to be useful. Just keep an eye on the bottom one here, reduce the tension just a little. That should be enough. And I can change the diameter of the hose and the sides. And then I can decide whether I want to make it rectangular or not. I probably don't, but there's an option. There's also the D section. There, round. Round for me. Yes, sir-y, Bob. Okay, next. I'm going to take this part and I'm going to just attach it to there. Then I'm going to take this part, attach it to there. For dummy, this will be our power fist hose dummy, like so. Okay, now let's look at this. And we've got all our lovely connectors and things going on here. So, depending on how far out we're going to be reaching our arm, we can have a hose come down. And I think I'm going to plug it into our redundant piston mount. Or will I? Haven't decided yet. I might just keep this one for the time being. Let's delete that off as well, because I quite like the smooth look on this. And let's see how this animates. Not bad, although I am noticing that this dummy is being remarkably festive. There, that looks a bit better. Let's see if we're actually going to get some decent movement there. Ah, that's better. Bit of proper movement. Okay, so I think the next step will most assuredly be adding a shed ton of riveting to this. So until that most merry of days, which won't be very long to be quite honest, I shall see you in just a few. Oops, let's just... Sorry, I'm just messing around with this because it's so much blooming fun, you know. There we go. Okay, so I'll see you in the next part, and until then, bye-bye for now.